Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Zaku Talku Podcast. I'm Mark, joined by my co-host Jose and Garcil, and today we will be concluding our series on Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam by discussing character developments, surprises, and tragedies that occur between episodes 37 through 50 of the series.
You're
Garcil?
not going to bring up the format?
That's the format. I just said it.
Okay. Fuck. All right, so we've been on, what you said, 50 episodes of the series. And in those 50 episodes, our opinions of characters tend to change, right?
Yes, that is
So,
true.
and there's one particular character where I'm pretty sure we all agree had the worst of it. So I want to get her out of the way. Rekoa. So Jose, I'll let you take this. I'm pretty sure.
Let me summarize this in a quick sentence.
Did
We
he let
fucking
him finish?
hate this bitch. But okay. Let's be honest. She's a character that has endured significant amounts of regression. She started off as a character that you kind of look towards, and that she came off with a very strong and very likable vibe. Like she was there for
If
her
I can
friend.
interject real quick.
Uh,
We all said that we were looking forward to what more she would do, and when she came in with an actual mobile suit, we were all pretty excited to actually see her in a battle. But things happened, and I'll let you continue with there.
Man, you're gonna need to remind me what exactly happened, because this trick messed up so much that I can't even keep it straight. Like, what can I say about this chick that's a good thing? Nothing, other than she dies. But
Right, so put it into perspective. We've all seen what the Titans have done. They've gassed the colony prior to the series beginning with the Colony 30 incident. They tried to gas the colony again.
They killed Camille's parents.
They've killed Camille's
sees
parents.
all these atrocities essentially happen before her eyes, and then she continually tries to or not even tries, she just gravitates towards the Titans for some weird reason, because like I said before, she gets turned on by people doing crazy shit, and she was down for Yazan. Like, she was cool with him for some weird reason. He saved her, he brought her back to the Titans, and then she was getting seduced by Cactimus Shirako, and after that there was just no going back. She just kept falling out of grace more and more
She
so.
actively participated in another gassing of a colony, which actually worked. That colony got gassed, and she helped.
So I was waiting this entire time to see if they would explain why she joined the Titans. Like, if there was an explanation, whether it be new type manipulation or some kind of backstory significance to draw her towards the Titans. There's something. But the fact that the reason that she joined them was simply because Char wasn't giving her enough attention was just like the ultimate slap in the face to her character, and made it to where whatever happened, she was never going to be redeemed. Like, nothing. Her last moments, what did she say to she was talking to Emma, right? She said, you'll never understand, the men only want to use you. And it's like, no, Emma's been treated way different. Like, Emma's been on the front lines. Emma's been doing much more than Rekoa ever did.
Emma was respected, and everybody cared for her. Everybody even felt and shared the same kind of respect towards Rekoa at various points. And I just don't understand why she felt the way that she did, because there was no actual reason for it. Like, if she says those things, you'd expect for there to be some kind of, like they show, they don't respect Rekoa so much. Char is just like pushing her away. I mean, he kind of does, but he does that to everybody else. So that's like blaming the scorpion for stinging you. Like, you shouldn't complain about that. That's stupid. I remember one of the last things that she said to Emma that I hated so much was that she was like, because I'm a woman, that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm your enemy. That's why I fight. Why? That has no relevance whatsoever. Emma's a woman too. What does that mean? Unless she's calling Emma not a woman. Is that how this works?
It was
It's
just
stupid.
so odd. It was so odd because her reasoning for leaving was because the men treated her poorly, but she goes to men that treat her like more poorly,
Worse.
like use her as an object instead of a like the Ayug was sending her on missions. You know, they were trying to let her be independent and be strong. And she joined the Titans and Paptimus, who were using her as like, I don't know, like an object kind of. I mean, they
Yeah,
let
he
her
was
do
just
the same
fawning
level
over
stuff.
her. He was a freaking Paptimus was just fawning over her. Yazan was just like, "Oh, I don't care about you," even more so than Char. In fact, they didn't even have any interactions really.
Yeah, they didn't.
So yeah, so where's the oh I'm into Yazan for that? It's not even there. It's not. There's absolutely nothing. And she just freaking sucks, dude. Oh my god, I can't stand her character. I just somebody take it away for it.
It's just weird how we have a contrast in characters. Like Emma was so good, but like I mean, I kind of had my qualms with her in the last part, but she really, I mean, in this part, she really solidified the fact that she's a really strong female character. And then you have Rekoa, who's the complete opposite of Emma in every way.
Yeah, Rekoa is just a piece of shit. She's just a bad character. She's horrible as representation for women. I don't know what they were trying to convey, but with the writing that they put behind her, with her characteristics in terms of that, with her logic, like it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up. It doesn't prove. It doesn't show anything. There's just nothing that comes from it other than just somebody being overly pessimistic over literally nothing and complaining about things that are not there.
Yeah, and then she's sitting there, like Garcelle mentioned, she's gassing a colony, but saying like in her mind, "Please, just come and stop it, AU. If you can't stop it, then you're not good enough." And then she's like, "Oh, you didn't stop it. Boom, let's just gas them." It's just, oh my god, her character is just unbearable
Fucking
to watch.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah, fucking ridiculous. It's a slap in the face to anybody that was hoping for a decent character and a decent female character, a decent whatever character. Rekoa is just trash. She's just a trash character. Crumple her up, throw her away, and then forget about her because that's what you would rather do with this character than continually think about the things, that she did, that she didn't do, and her complaining. Oh, and
Garcelle.
like you were pointing out too. You were saying that she gets treated worse. Yeah, she's getting freaking punched by freaking Captain Bosk. She's getting the shit punched out of her. That was so stupid. And then she was like, "Oh, they treat me with respect, and I feel like I mean something here with the Titans." Bitch, are you kidding me? They're slapping you around. You're getting slugged in the face. You're being disrespected. You're being objectified. You're literally everything that you're saying that you don't want. Or even she was saying that she kind of did want, but she's taking this in the bad way. Like, this is somebody that's like, that's like off their fucking rocker. Are you kidding? Like, it's just a bad character. Bad. I just want to, like, put my face in her finger and be like, bad Rekoa. Bad. No disrespect to the women, because there are definitely women, like strong female characters, and like Mark was saying, we'll get to her. But Rekoa is a fucking disappointment. She fucking sucks. She's bad. I can't believe I ever said that maybe she was the finest chick in Gundam. Hell nah. No, not even close after this. Nothing can save anybody from this. She's trash. She's space trash. She's human debris. She's. Alright, let's go.
One more thing before we move on from Rekoa entirely. She was the one that killed Commander Bask. If
That's
that
the only good thing she did. And you know what? That being the only good thing that she did, she it was very, like, a lot of people say that Bask died kind of anticlimactically. I thought that was a perfect disrespect to that asshole. That's the only good thing she did. Nothing is more disrespectful than getting killed off by a shitty character that nobody likes. That that's just a huge disrespect, huge middle finger by everybody that wrote the series and everybody that's a fan of the series, I feel like everybody should be proud of that moment, just in terms of Bass getting his, because that's the they did him the dirtiest.
I just wanted him to continue. I knew he would.
Yeah. No, dude, they freaking that getting killed by a character like Rekoa, you're better off getting slapped by somebody's used toilet paper.
Slager.
I would think even Slager's better.
Yeah, Slager.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Much better.
No, yeah, I'd Slager's still better.
Right. So moving on to a woman character that I'm pretty sure both of you do like, Rosamia. So Rosamia is a cyber new type that we originally saw back in part 1.
Call me Oni-chan.
Right. So as as Jose mentioned, we meet Rosamia again at Colony 16, a neutral colony, and she starts to develop a very odd relationship with Camille. A bond similar to what Four and Sarah developed. Oh, what do you guys think about the bond, and do you think maybe it's some new type thing?
So first of all, I would like to say Jose and I were right, and she did live.
Dude.
But I would also like to bring up the fact that the scene that she might have died in was the same exact style that happened to Matilda, and Matilda died. So
Exactly.
that's why we were so confused about. In terms of her interactions with Camille and her odd placement into this last few episodes, it was kind of odd. It was really awkward. I didn't know what was going on, honestly, because they had Bass kind of have a setup line like, "Oh, is Rosamia there?" and then they were like, "Yeah, she's there," but she's not hostile towards Camille. It's like they programmed her to get close to Camille, maybe as like mental warfare or something. But initially, she was, really nice, friendly. She thought it was her brother and stuff, and it was an odd interaction. Camille understood that she was messed up, and so he played along with her. I don't know. Overall, it was really odd, really weird, and the fact that the cyber new types are just kind of programmable is an interesting concept, I guess. But
which is not get explored any further.
No,
until maybe Double Zeta, but we'll see when we get there.
Yeah. So.
No, yeah. So far, the explanations for the new type powers is like freaking. It's like you starving in a desert of knowledge, or a desert you wish was knowledge, but it's actually barren and dry, and you're not getting shit. It's like that. You're not getting any information. You're not getting. It's just poorly. It's not expanded on. And I don't appreciate that, but that's its own problem, and maybe we might touch on that later. But back to Rosamia, let's
Yeah, the weirdest scenes were when she was being examined, and
right.
she's an adult but has the mentality of a child, so she's like pulling up her shirt and stuff in front of everybody. It was just that was.
In fairness, they were with a doctor that wanted to check her up.
Yeah, but Camille was there, and so was a couple other characters. So it was just really weird.
It was just the kids and Fa. She wasn't flashing a bunch of other people just to let the audience know.
It's still weird.
And then she ran over topless and hugged Camille, and then we were just all just reeling back and yelling and thinking to ourselves, "Call me Oni-chan, baby."
That might have been just from you.
Shh. No, but on the real, it's those scenes were all, honestly, to me, they came off pretty funny. Mostly because I thought it was really loopy and really crazy as to how they were just coming off. Because like Rosamia was this very serious character, and maybe the moment that we thought that she died, maybe just her like badassery of a character died. And no, I can't even really say that, because you know what? She was still kind of being serious when she was talking to Bosk in the first place, and then all this happened.
Yeah, it did give some growth to Camille's character again, which by giving him another character that relies on him, like Four, and it made him act more mature in these instances, because he wasn't pushing her away or shoving her to the sideline. He was trying to take care of her and trying to tell everybody else in the crew that they shouldn't do anything to her because it's not her fault. It's not like she's not a spy or any of this and that. She's has like a mental issue, and they should treat that as what it is, not like she's an enemy. So I thought that was kind of That was kind of a good part to the arc.
I thought it was funny how how those interactions when they first came across Rosamia, like when they were when she just kind of joined them on the carriage and started saying that Camille was her brother and all of this stuff. Uh, I thought it was funny how Fa was reacting to the whole thing because she was getting kind of jelly all up in them. She was like all jealous and just questioning everything, like who the hell is this Camille?
Oh, she
and
was acting like
Camille,
Paul.
yeah,
She was being her usual
that
self.
yeah, but it was still funny, and then the coincidence when she brings up the picture of her actual brother, and he kind of does look like Camille.
Photoshop.
Now, is that an actual photo, or is that just something that the Titans cooked up?
I have no idea.
We'll never know.
To touch up on Fa real quick, I did like that she has been mellowing out a lot more. No, that's about it.
Yes, and she had a cool new outfit, but that's neither here nor there. I just liked her
the
look.
ending too.
She was styling on her profile, and I'm not like being a perv or anything. I just mean like she looked cool.
It looked
Camille, I kind of like Camille's new getup too. He was like he had like a poncho. He was repping the Mexicans.
all right.
Well, it kind of looked like a poncho at least, but yeah.
So all good things do have to come to an end, and at one point, Rosamia does remember her mission, attacks Camille, and then leaves. And for a while, that's the last time we see her until she shows up in a new souped-up Psycho Gundam.
Oh, that thing looks sick.
I think it looked better than the other one, than the one that 4 was using.
I just liked it because it was purple.
It had a cool mouth. It kind of looked like
It looked like
an Eva.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. I thought that was pretty cool.
So once we meet back up with her, we get a glimpse from the Titans that say that they've reprogrammed her to think that another cyber new type is her brother, and she's acting the same, but now she's piloting a Psycho Gundam.
That one was way weaker. The new one,
the Psycho Gundam.
Yeah, Camille shot it like once and it died.
Yeah, was it once or was it like twice? Either way, it got shot very quickly and died.
It got shot through the head, and then Rosamia came out of the head, which I thought that the cockpit for the Psycho Gundam was in the torso, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't the old one, the one that 4 used.
Well, I guess maybe.
Remember this one's mouth opens and then she comes out of it?
Oh, okay. So, ultimately, what did you guys think about this whole arc for Rosamia?
It was tragic, like the other cyber new types that we've come across, like 4. I mean, she was thrown into a situation that probably was not her fault, and she didn't volunteer for anything, and then her mind's been scrambled, several times just through this arc. So it's kind of sad to see Camille get close to somebody and then have them torn away again and again and again.
Is it sad? Yes. But on the bright side, it is cute. At least I thought it was. Like, her acting all innocent, or being all innocent, because she really wasn't acting, because, she was legit in this kind of headspace. It added a little bit of extra wholesomeness to the series in general, especially to these kind of episodes, because in these final episodes that we saw, the final batch here, they got all to the nitty gritty and they were all serious and everything culminating towards the end and the climax and so forth. You'd only expect serious things, but honestly, a lot of the moments with like Rosamia, they came off very lighthearted, and like Mark said, they really added to Camille's character and his growth, and it was just really fun to watch. It kind of made the whole experience fun in general. But that's just how I felt about it. Again, it's still ultimately tragic about what happens to her, but I found some delight in it.
All right, let's.
And she's fine.
I was waiting for it.
I didn't think he was going to. So I wanted to move on. All right, so let's go ahead and go to an actual new type, in that of Haman. So Haman has been pretty much setting up to be a brand new villain.
Oh my god.
Right. So as we've been seeing, Haman has been acting as basically the commander for the Zeon, the Axis.
For the Axis.
So, do you guys really think that she is trying to restore the Zabi family, or do you think maybe there's something more that she's planning?
I think that there is definitely something more that she's planning. I think the idea of her just being satisfied with restoring the zombies does not really fit her. I feel like she's more, what's the word for it? Ambitious.
Okay, that works too. Oh, it's true. However, every time she does act every time she is around Minerva, she is acting very cordially, very nice. I can't find another way to put it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you
I
gotta
don't doubt
think.
that. Oh no, go ahead, Mark.
Oh, I was gonna say you gotta think that the people, the Xeon forces, are following the zombie family. So if she stays on Minerva's good side, then and the people listen to Minerva, then she can influence Minerva and get her way.
That is
Yeah, I
true.
agree with that. Hmm.
But I don't know, she didn't. I mean, she did some cool stuff like shoot out the engines and kind of triple agent kind of things. But
Yes, she did ally with the AU to take out a giant ass colony laser.
That is that's something that's a good, that's a good
Dude,
endeavor to have.
whose idea was it to turn a colony into a laser?
Beth.
Probably.
Fucking genius. Just kidding, no.
But yeah, I mean, that turncoat thing was kind of cool. Like, you never know, you didn't know exactly whose side she was on because it's whatever side that was most beneficial to her and whoever she could screw over the most in that moment.
She does
So,
team up with Optimus later.
Yeah, she like teams up with Papinus right after teaming up with Ayuk. So it was just, I mean, you never knew, and that you're always on your toes trying to figure out exactly what she was doing and who she was, whose side she was on.
But everybody was kind of aware of that a lot of the time. Like, they were like, oh, what's she scheming? Can we trust her?
Yeah.
And everybody was like always on edge about her, which is like good. They always showed what is it? Some sort of expectancy of her to not be completely loyal, but at the same time they still used her when it was appropriate for them. So, hey, an eye for an eye for everybody.
She also does have plan. She did have plans for the colony laser since she only took out one nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did she need a colony laser?
Why not?
They didn't say she couldn't have it.
Well, I can safely say we're going to see a lot more of Haman in Double Zeta.
Yeah, I've seen some like art for the show, and she's in it. So,
And
Well,
then she's also a character for that, for that series on Maxi Boost. So
yes, that is true. 2 suits, I think. So maybe we'll see a lot of her.
indeed, which I kind of like. I always like the idea of seeing her out in combat. She's kind of more of a tactician when it comes to mobile suit combat compared to everybody else. Everybody else just kind of relies more on like, oh, this suit's raw power, especially with Cactamus and the O. He's just like, oh, nobody's gonna touch the suit because it's so beast. And then Hamon's just kind of doing her thing. She's like, oh, this fool's gonna.
I mean,
Yeah.
What's it called? Cubely?
The Cubely,
Yeah, it's basically a new type weapon. It has funnels that she can control very easily.
It kind of reminded me. It's like the upgraded version of whatever Lawsuit is. Yeah, which is kind of cool because it kind of looks the same too. It's like got that same shape.
I'm honestly still surprised to see the precursor to the funnels again.
Well, they are funnels.
The wings kind of reminded me of since you guys are talking about the funnels, and I'm assuming you're referring to
The little
future mobile suits that appear.
Yes, when I think funnels, I usually think about the Seed characters or Lock-On Gundam.
See, I have no idea. I have no idea about anything from Seed, and the only experience I have with the funnels and seeing them is like on the Kshatriya in Unicorn. But I don't want to talk too much about that because I don't even know a lot. But I'm just like, that's where I saw it, and I thought it was really interesting seeing that this basically is like the precursor to that. It even has like the same kind of looking wings to it.
Yeah.
Well, Haman is a future villain, so let's go ahead and talk about the main villain for Zeta, Paptimus Shirako. So we've all given our impressions of Shirako being a bit of a creep, a bit of a sleazeball, as some would put it. So
Yeah.
This time around, when a certain character, Sarah, when she died, we saw Shirako actually get angry. So for me, that was interesting because I always thought that he was using her, but he actually cared. Did seeing that change your impression of Shirako in any way, or is he still a slimeball creep?
No, I think he thought Oh man, I was like, what do they call it? Grooming. I was grooming Sarah to be this new type powerhouse, and she wasn't even like fully there yet, and someone took her from me. You don't take anything from me, kind of thing. Like I don't think he honestly really cared about her as an individual, more so her potential.
Those are the practical reasons that very good job on that, because now that I'm thinking about it, those are basically the practical reasons to the side that I was thinking, and that he doesn't care about her, and he didn't improve in my eyes because I just thought he still was a slime ball, and he used them. He still kind of objectified them in kind of in a significant way. He looked at them like he owned them, and I thought when Sarah died, and he had his reaction, and then freaking shitty ass Rekoa was like, "Oh, he cares about me," because like he just lost Sarah and he flipped out and all this. He's like, I don't want them to take you too." But like that sounds sincere, but when you know as much as we do, because we know his intentions and how much of a bad character that he is, and like you said, he's like a sleazeball. Um, you feel like you know that he's just kind of using them and manipulating them emotionally. So he'll say things like that to get under their skin and give them a certain impression, when in reality, he's everything that Mark just said.
Which is true. When we first meet Shirako, he does have the line saying that he feels that the ruler of the universe will be a woman. So there is a possibility he was just grooming Sarah and maybe other cyber new types to be that ruler. And maybe like Haman to rule in the background.
Yeah, that's interesting. I forgot he even said that. But yeah, that's something to think about because he does say that, and most of the people that he showed interest in were women for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, he likes something to look at. Which is, I'm not saying that like, I just mean that he objectifies them. Because he definitely did. So, hey, if you're gonna use something, you might as well use something that you like, I guess.
All right, so one more thing. Something we, well, not one more thing. Something we all probably, when we saw it, we figured we weren't surprised. Paptimus ends up killing the founder of the Titans, Jamitov. And while he does not take command of the Titans, he does give Titans orders. And then there's kind of like a civil war between him and Bast. Did any of that surprise you guys?
No.
No, not really.
I figured.
I thought he was gonna kill Haman too. I thought he was going for the double whammy.
Was he going to? Because I don't remember exactly. No, he was like cool with her. She was like down with him, and they're about to turn on what's his face.
Jamitov.
Yeah.
Dude, too bad Char shoots like a stormtrooper. He might have been able to take him out.
Yeah. Shoots like a stormtrooper.
There is one more point that I want to bring up with Shirako, but I'll save that for when we talk about Camille, since that is pretty much the ending.
Yeah.
So let's go into the what I feel is probably the most surprising thing to come out of the series. Let's go in with Kotz.
Yes.
So,
all right, let's do this.
Kotz as a character. I'm just gonna do. So, when Kotz decides to go out and fly, he decides to go out and fly because he hears Sarah. So during a few skirmishes, he ends up killing her, who is basically his love interest. One-sided love, but still. And that destroys him. Aside from the fact that he did kill somebody, he did kill his love interest. And he goes back to being the Kotz that we originally met him at. But I feel at this point it is slightly more justified. But
yeah, I share those same thoughts. Pretty much, he throughout the last few episodes and these episodes, Kotz's character developed rapidly. He started to listen a little bit more, and he started to become, a more mature character overall. And I feel like adding Sarah into that kind of jumbled that up a little bit because he did start to act more insubordinate and try to go out on missions and stuff. But I feel like his reasoning for not wanting to go out there, like Garcelle said, was valid because, I mean, you can't trust the Zeon after he's already seen them, swap sides multiple times, and he's right to distrust them. So I think in that instance, he was one of the only voices of reason, him and Fa, because they both didn't trust Haman, rightfully, and then having his girl that he had a crush on, and a new type connection with die. We've seen what that does to Amuro and Camille. So having that happen to him, huh?
No, never mind. Cut this out.
Oh.
I was gonna say twice, but Rosamia happens afterwards.
But we've seen this happen to those two characters and how it destroyed them. And I feel like Kotz took it a little easier than them and kind of just became a little more reckless and was gambling with his life a lot more because, he lost something important to him. He lost the reason to fight and the reason to live. He kind of gave up. But
he did gain a reason for revenge.
Yeah, but I do give him, credit for the past couple of arcs where he did develop as a character, and I can't say that in the end I hated him, but I could say that I started out hating him. So I feel like that's a good development as a character. It was kind of shocking to see him die like that. He went out. Yeah, he went out pretty poorly.
I'll be honest here, and I'll put this out right now. I didn't think that the show had the balls to kill off Kotz.
I really didn't either. I really did not. And the fact that they did is
fucking awesome.
Oh my god.
In the way that they did it, it was a little odd, but
it's perfect. It's exactly what we wanted.
Well, I'll let you take it from here because I think that my point came across and Garcella's points came across because we started out hating him, ended up not hating him as much, maybe even kind of liking him and sympathizing with him. But you seem to have a completely different opinion.
All right, so let me tell you about this fucking kid that sucks, Kotz. All right, first off, you guys were saying that, Kotz is like, he was starting to listen more, and I'm trying to think, when was he starting to listen more? I don't remember, maybe like one instance that he was kind of listening to them, but every other moment, he's getting in his freaking G-Defensor, he's leaving the base, he's leaving the argument over and over again, and they're telling him, hey, you're not supposed to be going out there. Oh, it's just Camille, or it's just a one-man job. He's like, oh, I want to fucking go do it anyway. Like, little prick, he just does whatever he wants. I'm really having trouble. When does he actually do something that they tell him to do? Hardly ever, from what I can remember. And I'm looking at my notes, and I'm trying to think. Because if he listened to them and was actually, like, somewhat responsive to his higher command, then I would have written that down and given him credit for it. But there's like nothing. There's nothing significant, and even if it's there, it doesn't last for shit. Like it goes away so quick, and everything else that he does just builds up more and more. That whole thing that you guys were saying that his dad fought the Zeons, and so they're by default his enemy. Yes, I understand that, but in the given situation, in the context of things right now, he has both. He has a Captain Bright, who was his father's commanding officer back then, like playing around with them and using them tactically. And it's not like everybody on the Argama was like, oh, Zeon is perfect and we have an alliance with them and we're buddy 100%. No, everybody was still like watch out for them. They're not to be trusted 100%, but we'll use it to our benefit right now. Everybody was being cautious anyway. Just Kotz and not Emma, and Fa were just like, hey, we shouldn't. But Kotz was being overly outspoken of it. And that's, okay, I got that. That's fine. But Fa wasn't like, I can't even lump Fa really with Kotz, because Kotz was being extremely outspoken and just disregarding everything that they were saying and being unreasonable in that situation. And Fa was just like, yeah, I kind of agree with them. Like, they were our enemies. Like, why should we trust them? Nobody's saying you should trust them 100% anyway. They're being cautious. Nobody's saying, like, we're best friends with them now. They're just using them in the given situation to their advantage. And I thought it was dumb how Kotz wasn't getting that, especially from the guy that was like his father's superior officer. And Kotz just annoyed the shit out of me with all the dumb stuff he said. He was overly outspoken. He talked crap a lot like he did when he gets introduced to Amuro. and then all this stuff, and it just comes back, and it hurts his character because he just seems like a big old hypocrite, and he hasn't progressed because he just talks a lot of shit, and then he doesn't do anything. He doesn't back it up. He doesn't act like a soldier. He doesn't act competent in a lot of situations. He makes things go from neutral to bad, like that whole thing when he was was it when Xeon or the Axis were meeting up with the Titans to like discuss something when Haman was meeting with them, and then they sent Camille like as just like what was it like this to be somebody on board to just be there as a representative of the AUG, and then Koth just had it in his mind to just do whatever the hell he wanted and just follow Camille and make the situation a lot more hostile. Completely threw away any kind of potential that they could have further used the Axis, whether it was to get intel from them or use them in some other capacity, like for the warfare, like they had used them previously with destroying that colony laser thing. And Katsu just pretty much throws that all down the toilet. And because I remember that he yells out, "It should be me that's going out there to avenge freaking Sarah." Like, you dumb bitch, you're the one that fucking killed her. This guy, like, Katsu's just, it's dumb. He's dumb. And then Sarah tells him over and over again, like, "Hey, I'm obsessed with Shirako. You're not a man." That's actually what she tells him. Like, you're not a man, and you're never gonna be the man that I can love like Shirako. And she just humiliates him, says he's not a man, says he's trash, says he's just a naive kid, and then he's simping over her so hard. It's ridiculous. This kid, I have no respect for his game. It's bad. Other than he's just getting played by this chick. What else? Let's see. Yeah, Kotz just does whatever the fuck he wants. He thinks he can avenge Sarah. Dumbass is the one that fucking killed her. Bright is about to shove a foot up his ass for being stupid, which is exactly what should have happened a long time ago. And then Kotz just keeps doing dumbass shit. And then when he starts following Camille, the best thing happens. The best thing that Camille ever did for Kotz happens. He turns around and he's like, "You'll obey orders or I will shoot you. Your choice." That's the greatest thing that anybody has ever said to Kotz. I was just ready to like, please, Camille, just take this fucking kid out. Do us all a favor. But no, the MVP was Yazan. He did exactly what what I wanted. And just freaking, he did away with the trash, dude. Kotz is just
Was it Yazan or was it just a random?
No, it was Yazan. Yeah, no, you freaking no. The extra guy died. He got killed, and Yazan got triggered.
Well, should you be cheering for the asteroid?
Speaking of which, the extra guy. I'm going to talk about the asteroid after, but the guy. You know what's funny is that I looked up that scene because I loved it so much, and there's nothing but a bunch of good comments. Like, and dude, everybody was like saying "Rest in peace, Ramses," the random guy that Kotz killed. Everybody was saying he was too pure for this world, and everybody was just happy as all hell that Kotz bit the dust. And I'm not even joking. There's so many comments like that. There's like one guy that was like, "Oh, you guys are messed up. He's a kid." I don't give a shit. This kid got out there in a combat zone and knew what he was doing. He killed somebody. So how are you not going to expect somebody to shoot him back? And he has the audacity to be freaking like, "Oh, you couldn't hit the bright side or the broad side of a barn with that kind of aim," to Yazan. And the dumbass runs into a giant fucking rock in space. The most fitting end for a stupid character that nobody liked.
Were you satisfied with that ending, or did you want him to go down like fighting? Or you
No,
satisfied
it was
with him
perfect. He went out perfectly, just like the pathetic trash that he is. He ran into a giant rock in space, and then he yelled for his life. He's like, "Ah!" And then
hold on.
Yazan snipes him like a beast.
You have to. I don't care who you are. This him like ship where he's dying and he's all smashed up. You didn't feel anything at that scene?
Well,
When it explodes?
No, like right before it explodes, where it shows his like helmet's all cracked, he's got like a bloody nose, he's all beat up, the ship's all destroyed. You didn't feel anything in that scene.
No, dude, I was like, no way, this can't be happening. I was like, oh shit, this show knows what we want. This show, oh my god, it was so good. I was legit like laughing out loud, and it was like in the morning that I watched this episode, and I was just, this thing woke me up hardcore. I was so excited. I could not believe this show had the guts to do that. I thought Kotz was just gonna live and just, sit around and just be a simp for his whole life for somebody that he killed by himself, like an idiot. But no, he met his end by Yazan's hand and a giant rock, and he exploded in a ball of fiery glory. And Emma's face was actually pretty funny in reaction to that. So it was perfect.
Jesus Christ.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad about that scene. That was incredible, and I loved it. And I have played that scene on repeat multiple times, and it does not fail to leave a smile on my face.
You're a little demented there, I think.
Dude, Kaz is trash. I can't. There's nothing good about him. I have it in my notes. He's Yazan told him the perfect thing right before he planted one right between his thrusters. He's like, too cocky, kid. And then he freaking blasted him. He sniped him. He 360 no-scoped him, dude. And he blew up in a ball of fiery glory. God damn, it was good. Kotz was a trash character. He was horrible. He died in the end, and it was so satisfying. You know what? There was one moment after he died that I was really afraid. Is when you hear his voice again, and I was like, no! He's a fucking new type, and now he's like...
immortal.
He's sitting around in new type heaven.
Right, we'll get to new type heaven in a bit.
All right, is that all you have to say on Kotz?
It's probably
we're still
not
doing the
much
questions in the end, right?
What?
Huh?
We're still doing our question things at the end, right?
These are the question things.
These are the questions. All right, then I'm gonna tackle this right now. Yes, you know what? I don't care. You guys probably have a different opinion than mine, and that's perfectly fine, and I respect that and all. But
Okay.
I do. I like Rekoa better than Kotz.
Jesus Christ.
What?
Yeah, I fucking hate Kotz.
Hold on. Stop right. You like Rekoa better than Kotz?
Yes,
like
I
a
think Kotz is
traitor.
the worst character. I think
No.
Kotz is a lot more of a worse character. Well, no, okay, I can't really say a lot more because I did have to legit think about it, and they're both horrible. And I just came to the conclusion that Kotz slightly edges out Rekoa.
What? I have to disagree with you there entirely. Kotz
And I'll tell you why. Kotz, he was trash from the beginning to the end. Rekoa had some potential, and she had some moments of regression. And yeah, you can kind of chalk that up to like, that's stupid of her, and I don't like that she's indecisive. But at the end, it kind of played into the favor of the AUG, and ultimately I'm kind of going for them and their best outcomes. And her stupidity ultimately led to good things for the AUG in some instances. She killed Bask. What else?
She gassed
Kotz is
an
stupid.
entire. No, hold on. She gassed. No. You let me talk right now. She gassed an entire colony, and you're saying that Kotz being a little dumb is way worse than Rekoa.
A little dumb? No. Kotz is like, he's fucking hella stupid, dude.
He's dumb,
Kotz
but
is-
he doesn't gas a colony.
Okay, so Jose, you're saying that a horny little teenager that is just doing something stupid is worse than a traitor who has killed multiple people.
All right, here's the thing.
Hold on.
First off-
Rosamia holds the corpse of a child that got gassed by Rekoa, and you're saying Kotz is worse.
All right, so here's the thing. First off,
I
the
don't think
Titans
there's
were
any-
gonna gas them anyway, and it wasn't just because of Rekoa. Like they were gonna do that shit anyway.
Rekoa could have stopped it.
No, she probably could not have 100% stopped it. In my
She
opinion,
could have 100%.
First off, she's not that competent of a character, and
Oh my
second
God.
off, Kotz Kotz actually led to things fucking up by himself entirely. He was the sole reason why the Axis completely got cut off from the AUG as a potential asset. Whereas Rekawa is just like an
No,
asset
that
of the
was
Titans
that
that
was
led to
Char.
them being.
That was Char. Char
No,
started
because
the
freaking
initial
no, it was.
conflict. Char
Yeah, but Char only
confronted
started
Haman.
it because he saw that freaking kid there. He freaking saw Kotz there. He's like, oh god, I can't let him get choked out by this guy. So he just decided to start shit.
No, before that, Char caused contention first because when they boarded the ship initially, Char got mad that Haman was grooming Maneva in a way that he did not approve of, and he started shooting at them, thus starting a conflict between the two groups.
He was sitting
Kotz,
in a room. He didn't do anything. He didn't
But
do
the
anything
thing,
until he
Mark,
saw Kotz show up and he was getting attacked. So he wasn't gonna let him get choked out and get killed.
what were you gonna say, Grisel?
aren't you talking about when they first meet?
Yes.
But I think
Yeah,
the
that's at
thing is,
first.
no, the thing is that happens first, then they still work with the AU even after that happened.
But do they work
Exactly.
with the AUG or do they work of their own accord and
They
whatever
work of
side's
their
more
own accord,
beneficial?
but in a
Yeah.
way that's beneficial for both sides, or in a way that both sides are aware of each other with significant caution. So they're
But
like
if you look
mutually
at the scene,
benefiting. They're
if you
using
look
each
at the
other.
scene as a whole, if you look at that entire scene as a whole, it looks like regardless of what happened, Optimus Shirako and Haman were planning something. They were planning to kill Jamatov no matter what. So no
Yeah,
matter
but that's
what,
their own problem. They could have still maybe have led to using the Axis in some kind of backhanded or back alley
I don't
way.
think so. I think that
It's
was sealed.
possible. Here's the thing: we will never know, but that's something that you can't completely rule out, other than the fact that Kotz just completely destroyed it. Those possibilities by himself, because he showed up to kill Shirako of his own accord for his own selfish reasons.
I have to disagree with you there. I think that regardless of Kotz being there or not, they were going to join up and team up against the Ayug, and that whatever Haman was planning was already set in motion. Kotz just caused a disturbance in that,
Look,
and
that's definitely possible, and that's probably honestly really likely. But it's one of those things that they did the same thing with the AU. Like that's still possible. They worked with the AU and they screwed over the Titans in the same manner, but then they still turned around and they're still willing to do it. They're like the middlemen in like the war effort. They're like profiteering off of things, and they're just like their own faction. You know, at the end of the day, Haman's not gonna bow down to the Titans. She's gonna stab them in the back because she wants everything to herself. So at the end of the day, it's not like she's 100% buddy buddy with them either.
but I think her main goal was to get Shar back on her side, and when Shar disagreed initially, that was the end of any actual reasonable team up. Like, as long as Shar was opposed to whatever she was doing, she was never going to fully commit and could never be entirely trusted no matter what. So Kotz doing what he did was just like a minor annoyance, not
No,
necessarily something that ruined an entire relationship.
they got pissed because he was there and he was shooting people,
I mean,
and
if we're talking,
that made Shar have to jump into action to save Kotz. He was there just chatting it up and hanging out with Maneva. And he was like contemplating. He's like, God, I hate this. I hate what they're doing to her. But he didn't do anything yet.
oh, now I get what he's talking about. I forgot that Char was actually there.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah, but he didn't do anything until Kotz showed up.
the thing is that the meeting between Haman and Paptimus was always going to happen. That was going to happen regardless of team up or not. The only thing that happened differently was the fact that Jamitov wanted to be there, and the only thing that Kotz actively took part in was giving Paptimus an opportunity to kill Jamitov, and that's it.
Which he was probably going to do anyways, because it looked like they were planning it anyways.
They both wanted him dead, and
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, that's fine, and that would have left them to their own vices, but that didn't necessarily have any particular detriment to the AUG. And they still even were going to have Camille just stop by just to basically show that they were on neutral terms.
No, Camille was not going to be sent. Camille went after Kotz. After Kotz left, they hadn't agreed. They haven't.
No. Yeah, they called him up because
They were
they said
calling
that
them
they
up,
were
but
going to
they
allow
didn't
one
agree.
person as a person that was like stopping by, and it was supposed to be Camille,
It
but
was not
Kotz
supposed
just
to be Camille.
decided to join him.
No, Kotz left because Kotz picked up the phone. He got the information and then he actively left.
Yeah.
Camille then followed after him.
There's two
Bright,
instances. Yeah.
what?
He's talking.
No, because that's the moment.
No,
That's
no,
the
no,
moment that
Jose,
he
Jose,
tells Kotz to
Jose,
go back.
Jose. No, that's a different moment. That's when he's going to attack them. Camille is going to go attack them, and Kotz says he can't do it alone. I'm going with him. This is after what you're talking about with Camille happens after Kotz and the initial Jamitov death thing. Camille, Camille follows Kotz the first
No.
time.
I know it's not.
It is.
I have it
It is
written down
true.
in my notes. All right, I'm gonna come back to this, but you know what? Still, at the end of the day, fuck Kotz. I'll still take Rekoa over Kotz.
All right, let's leave it at that because fuck Bright.
Well,
Oh my god, that's a lot.
It's fun.
God, let me know how long that is. I need to get back to where I was. Okay, so when we were talking about Rekoa, we brought up Emma a few times, how we all liked her and how she was better as a woman. How she was better as a female character. However, being a character that we knew of since the beginning, I never felt that she had her moment to shine, really. Like, she showed up, she joined the AUG and then was regulated to more or less a background character.
A babysitter to Camille.
Basically. But after Camille got the Zeta, she got the Mark. She was the main pilot for the Mark II.
My woman.
Oh, I'm so glad I
How could
lowered
he-
its volume.
How could he take my
Sounded
What
so
do you
much-
hate Cody?
It's loud.
now recording? What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Zaku
No,
Talku.
it's not a new episode.
Mark, so, did we stop like perfectly at the end of Kata's thing, or did it cut out?
No, it's perfect. Like you started asking the Emma question and then it cut out.
How do I start that question again?
Let me pull up my notes again.
All right, everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we talked about Emma earlier when we were talking about Rekoa and how she's a better character. But personally, I felt that she was underutilized. Like there were multiple scenes where she was mostly just a background character. I did like her in these last few episodes where she played a much bigger role, but I feel in past episodes there could have been more use of her. What do you guys think?
I thought Emma was actually much better this time around. I had complaints about her in our third part because of the fact that she was really naggy and obnoxious and bugging Camille when he wasn't really doing anything, just kind of maintaining that personality she had through the first two parts into the third part for no reason. But this time around, it seemed like although she was bothering him a little bit, she was still maintaining that, like they were teammates more so than just a younger brother, I would say. So overall, I really liked her character, and I think that the way she was portrayed when she, what actually ended up happening to her was played off really well. I like that she told Camille that he's the one who can truly end the war, and that gave him the motivation to continue fighting on even through all the tragedies that he had been through up to that point. Jose?
Well, I thought Emma was pretty great. Looking at her from the beginning to end, she's truly a ride or die character. She's really good cohort to Camille, and their camaraderie was hilarious all the time. And I like that they kind of balanced each other out in a lot of ways, because like Camille would spit facts at her, and then she'd slap him. In fact, she still slapped him. She slapped him like 3 times in episode 40, and it was hilarious and it was great. It was when Camille was trying to like make up excuses like why he couldn't take out Rekoa, and First off, Emma slaps him right when he gets back, and then tells him you should have finished her off. And Camille tries to like play the blame game with her, like, oh, you should be sympathetic to her because you betrayed your original faction too, but that's completely different because they were different circumstances. Like Emma ditched the Titans because they were just horrible and committing atrocities to humanity, and Rekkoa ditched the AU because she was horny for Yazan and Cactumus. So then she deservedly slaps Camille again, and it was hilarious. And then he tells her, "Oh, don't be so mature." Or no, she tells him that, and then that he shouldn't follow. He tells her, "Don't be so mature." She just followed her emotions, and anyone can do that. And he rebuttals with the surprising from someone who keeps slapping people. See, they just have a lot of great chemistry like that, and they kept showing that even like during these portions, the latter portions of the show, and I really appreciated that they pretty much just stuck to that. But at the same time, like Mark was saying, that they showed that she treated him a little bit more, actually, kind of a good amount more with like treating him like he's um, a capable cohort instead of just the little brother figure. He's he's the guy that's got her back, and that she's got his back, and they don't really need to ever question that and their loyalties to each other. And I really appreciated that. And it was really fitting how she was basically the last person to really be the big voice and inspiration to Camille, and finishing the fight, as they would say in Halo 3. But it was really good, and I loved her character. She was definitely a strong female character. Just like she said, she always stuck up for her ideas and whatever she believed in, and for what she thought was right. Which is good, because that's the first thing that she did. She defied the Titans and joined the AU because she thought it was better, like morally from her standpoint. And she just kept true to that to the end. Passed that on also to Camille and inspired him, and she just had overall a great character being. I wasn't really disappointed by her in any kind of way. I thought that she was very appropriate being a supporting character, and how she was utilized and when she was utilized was, I would say personally, very satisfying. So that's my take on Emma.
I see that Kot's fight kind of drains your guys' energy, huh?
Fuck Cots, dude. Cots drains everything. Cots drains the life out of people's everything.
Oh, the
Cots
fire's
drains the
back.
fun.
The fire's
Cots
back.
drains the fun. He drains the fun out of anything. He drains the seriousness out of anything. He's a fucking prick. He's a kid that I didn't see coming that was gonna die. And
Right?
he died,
Can we
and it was
stop?
cool.
Can we just stop?
Okay.
Mark,
Okay.
cut this part,
All
Mark.
right. I'll call it good. Just fuck Cots. That's it.
Let's not give Mark more work. So a former teammate, Emma's former teammate, Jared. So again, he was a character that we met at the beginning, and he was pretty much geared up to be basically Camille's rival, the shard to Camille's Amuro. And I feel it was there at the beginning.
So Jared, yeah, he just appeared over and over again, did the same things over and over again, and there was characters like Yazan and Paptimus that were a lot more threatening, and that when they were on screen, what was happening was actually interesting because you knew that they posed a threat to the other characters. Whereas Jared, he'd come in, do nothing, and then get shot by Camille and leave. Camille even started taking him not seriously. He'd show up and Camille would just be like, dude, get away from me, and shoot him in the arm and blow his arm up, and then he'd leave. But yeah, that's what I have to say about Jared. I really didn't like his character. I didn't like what they did with him. And ultimately he just ended up being trash.
Yeah, roast. Anyway, yeah, everything that you said is pretty much true. Like, I don't know. I'd define Jared as a fruit fly. You just got some fruit laying around, and then you got the fruit flies just flying around, just bugging the shit out of you and just being annoying, not having anything to contribute to life. and he didn't have anything to contribute really at that point. At this point in terms of the story, I kind of felt like he was just there. Like he had a lot of good stuff that was like building up to something in the beginning, like with Lila and his friends getting canned by Camille over and over again. But he didn't make any proper strides into like being a formidable rival to Camille towards the end. He just came off as annoying. Like like Mark said, he got touched once, like in any battle, he got grazed and he's gone. He's like a kid playing Guitar Hero trying to get 100%, and he doesn't take the win even if it's a 99%. You know, he wants that 100, and for some reason, he's just not that good. Like he doesn't have that new type prowess. He just sucks. He should just accept it. He's trash. And he just started popping out everywhere. Like everywhere Camille just happened to be, he would just like pop out of the corner, like freaking Scary Terry in that episode of Rick and Morty. He's just like he just pop out of like every corner like a freak.
What are these references?
Like like he just pop up everywhere where Camille would like happen to be. Like Camille could just be taking a shit in one of the places, and then Jared would pop out and bust through that door and yell out, "What?
I got you, Camille."
You ruined his joke.
I didn't think he was gonna keep going.
Oh yeah, okay. Like Camille, like he'd just pop out anywhere, freaking Camille would just be walking down the hall, and Jared would just be like, he would just happen to be going to lunch at the same time, and he'd run into him in the hallways, and he just like, oh, I'm gonna kill your ass, and it got annoying. Like he's just at that point, like if Camille was a piece of shit, then Jared was the flies that was just constantly around him. He's just trash. Camille could be in the bathroom dropping a colony, and Jared would bust through the wall like the Kool-Aid man, going, "Oh yeah," like about to kill him. He'd be like, "Oh, Camille, I'm here for you," but then he'd get cucked, and it happened all the way to the end, and he had a miserable death that wasn't sexy or badass at all. Like he went out he went out like he was Team Rocket, like a punk. He's just like, we're blasting off again. And that's pretty much what he did. He's like getting shot into the ship, and he's like, oh, I'm dying this time. Fuck you, Camille. And he died. Miserable. He's just a sad character. And not sad as in tragic. He's just trash, He's worth less than a postage stamp. He's shart. There's not much to say other than that. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality.
I think he went in harder this time around. All right, so let's get into the actual Char. So the former villain from Mobile Suit Gundam turned hero. And let's not forget, he's never betrayed anybody, ever.
Lies.
So, from Mobile Suit Gundam through all the way to Zeta, what do you guys think?
So Char was a character that was, he was in the compilation films enough, but there was a couple arcs in there where he just didn't show up. And so he's kind of mysterious. All we knew that he was former, like the leader of the Zeon son, and he was seeking revenge for the Zabi family killing his father and tarnishing the name. But other than that, in the original Mobile Suit Gundam series, it's kind of all we knew about him from the compilation films that we watched. But in this, we got a whole new take on him. His voice actor in this was amazing. He was always calm and collected, except, a couple instances around Haman. But overall, I really enjoyed his character. Every time he was on screen, he seemed to garner respect and attention, and everyone would listen to him. He was definitely a leader, and the show did a good job of portraying that. And when push came to shove, he stepped into that role. Although he didn't want it, and didn't necessarily want to be a leader. He took that role upon himself because it's what had to be done. And in this show, he was a good guy, which is never, I don't think it's ever really explained on why he turned heel or not turned heel, but turned in from a villainous character into more of a heroic character. I think a little bit more explanation would have been cool, but other than that, I mean, he was one of the better characters in the show, and I always enjoyed seeing him.
Well, in Zeta, he was so cool. He was so cool that I kind of decided, like, hey, if I ever happen to have a kid, I'd want to name him Shar, assuming it's a dude kid, and and it's like he's so cool to the extent that I'd probably beg the chick that I would be with, be like, yo, let's name him Shar, and then I'd probably just give in and be like, you know what, name him whatever you want, because you're the one that had the kid, so that shit hurts, so it's all good. But still, I'd put in the effort.
Drop that very quick.
But his name's cool. But the reason that I hopped onto that originally is just because I like his character so much in this. When I first heard his voice in this series, I was a little bit taken aback because I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna have to dock this guy some points because it's not Steve Blum." But then I got used to his voice in here, and you know what? It's actually a very mature sounding voice. And like Mark said, I kind of landed on thinking that, hey, his voice actor in Zeta is pretty amazing, and I really appreciated him. He had like a very Captain America type of talk. He's like, let's see, what did he say? He said things like, oh, Camille, it's important that you take care of yourself and make sure to take care of your allies and all this shit. But, like something along that line or those lines. He's a real Captain America in this. And I thought that was down. And he was so cool. Like, he was really, I like how he was originally still working for Axis, and then he turned coat and was basically just like for the AUG, and he like found himself there. And I just appreciated that because I feel like he's finding himself in what he wants more so than ever. Like in the compilation films, he was chasing the idea of revenge, and that was pretty much all that was driving him. But now he's kind of how should I say, he's determining his own destiny. He's finding where he fits best and doing the things that he's able to, he's competent in, like being a leader, and still being the Red Comet and beasting in Mobile Suit Combat. So I just really appreciated his character overall. He's just like, he was a very strong mentor figure, especially towards Camille throughout the majority of the series. And yeah. But yeah, that's what I think of Char in this series, or should I say Quattro Bajina. I kind of wish they chose his name a little bit differently, but you know what? I'm okay with that. Quattro Bajina is still cool, and that's what Camille knew him as, and would always really know him as, and I'm down with it. But still, it's not as sexy as Char Aznavour. Like, that's a way cooler name. But still, Quattro Bajina is fine. But Char. Anyway, yeah.
Crystal, are you gonna say anything about Char?
No. You guys mentioned everything more or less. But I do have a question mostly towards you, Jose, since Mark, you've watched Char's Counterattack, and I know a few things about it. So, Jose, within the series, Shirako says that Char wants to bend the world to his will. Do you think that Char maybe has some sort of hidden ambitions that maybe even he doesn't fully realize? Or do you think this is just Shirako being Shirako?
I'm not going to count it out as a possibility, because I feel like there's always room to grow, and he made big strides from the transition of the original Mobile Suit Gundam, at least the compilation films that we watched, to this series. And throughout the course of this series alone, he made not necessarily huge changes to where he started from in this series, but he still was gradually changing and growing and coming to terms with himself in certain ways. So I don't think that it's impossible for him to come up with like new aspirations and want bigger things or goals, but just from the direction that this series pointed him in, I don't think it's anywhere near as malicious, or it would be anywhere near as malicious as Shirako made it out to be. Like, what did he say? He said he wants to
bend the world to his will.
Yeah, see, that sounds a little bit extreme. Maybe influence the world, but probably in a better light. Like, he said something about wanting to integrate the new types with humanity and help each other and essentially coexist with one another in a more cohesive manner and positive way, that would lead them to a better future or along those lines or something. I think that's basically what I just came up with from everything that I've seen. But I don't. I think that's Shirako just probably wanting to inspire him to be bad. I mean, Shirako kind of uses emotionally manipulative tactics, into getting people to do certain things. Like he was, like you guys were saying earlier, he was trying to groom Sarah into becoming the ruler of the galaxy or universe or whatever the hell he said again. But he's kind of planting that kind of stuff into her, and then he's buttering her up by like being nice to her and be like, oh, I want you and all this stuff and whatnot. But that's just how he is. He's like he's just manipulative like that, and I feel like that was his, like, what he said to Char was his final attempt at trying to be manipulative and drive Char, or Quattro Bagina, towards a certain direction. We'll see where it takes him, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as drastic or crazy as Shirako made it out to be, to bend it to his will, because that sounds like some kind of tyrant, and I feel like Char doesn't come off anywhere near as much as being kind of like a tyrant throughout the course of this series, nor in the original Mobile Suit Gundam. So that's my take on it.
All right, well, we'll see soon enough. Oh, I just realized I skipped over the whole death thing. Ah, fuck it. Fuck it, it doesn't matter. We've already talked about Shark Dino Attack. Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, and then you mentioned something about how did it showed that he's what, like, it hinted that he's alive towards the end.
Yeah. After the end credits for the final episode, it shows the Hyakushiki just flying by the screen.
Well, shit, I didn't know that. I didn't stick around for all the credits. I should have, but this is pre-Marvel, and I was under the notion that was not a thing prior to Marvel. So it is what it is.
I figured Mark was just gonna cut this.
Yeah, I'll probably just watch. I'll start watching the credits all the time, but I just don't want to see those in the next episode type of things. Yeah.
It was the last episode. It wasn't gonna have it in the next episode.
Yeah, I kind of I blanked on that. I was like, oh shit, this is actually the end, so that's not a problem anymore. It's just a habitual thing to just skip it.
All right, so for the man of the hour, the main hero. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm tired.
Camille, be done. Let's do it.
All right, so we followed Camille on this wacky little ride for about a month. We've seen him grow from being a punk to starting to care about his teammate. God, I'm really tired.
We saw him grow from a man to an even better man.
To a man that throws hands, that throws kicks.
And that throws legs. Yeah, he likes to throw them legs. Dude, he's got like a knockout kick. It's fucking time. He dodge point blank gunfire. He can dodge, getting slashed by a mobile suit with a sword and getting stomped. I think Camille could probably give he could probably give what was her name, Lala Soon, a run for her money, considering that she tanked a nuke, but Camille's got the reaction speed over her. So
all right, let me cut off that rambling. Mark,
sorry,
you weren't the biggest fan of Camille when we first started watching this. Well, Jose and I were pretty much all on board for him. What's your opinion, like right at the end?
So Camille, he did progress significantly as a character, and I saw that shift in the last little bit we watched. So between the first episode and the last episode, he's a great character, significantly better. I would say he's better developed than Amuro in the compilation movies, and Amuro made a huge shift. So Camille making that same shift was fun to watch, and I really had a good time, on his journey with him. And his journey was more of I guess, an inner journey, and he had to figure out. Are you laughing?
No.
And he had to figure out who he was as a person, even though he had all these things stacked against him. His parents died. People made fun of him all the time. He was bullied, and we see that in the first episode. And to become like one of the main, I would call him a respected individual amongst the AU team. And to be able to have all that stress and recognition, and that's a lot to take in as a kid. But initially, he doesn't know how to react to it, and he lashes out at everybody. He doesn't want it. But then, as we see him progress, he eventually, jumps into that role and takes it head on. And I think that he was just a fantastic character, and I'm really, really bummed out at what happened to him at the end. And I just couldn't imagine watching this as someone who had to, who was sitting through this as it aired, and then to see that episode and then not know anything that happens to him afterward. I'm really tempted to go on YouTube or like a wiki or something and figure out what happens, but I'm gonna hold back, and I'm gonna watch Double Zeta to see if that has any, because it's a continuation, obviously, Double Zeta, to see if it has any information on Camille, and hopefully it does, but we'll see.
Also, for the record, Mark, you sound a bit muffled.
Do I? I can feel it in my throat.
Right, Jose, so Mark brought up Camille's ending. What were your thoughts on it?
It was very sad. It was very sad. It was very tragic. I didn't like it, honestly. It's such a cliffhanger. If anything, to be honest, I don't know if I'd call it a cliffhanger, just out of the fact that we know that this series continues in a certain way, or to some extent. The only thing that's sad is that we don't know what exactly is Camille's fate. So I mean, for all we know, he could end up like Amuro's dad, and just just be a walking nut, and not have, just not be in the right headspace, and have suffered so much, which would be really unfortunate, and just it like his character. He especially won me over when he threatened nuts and to shoot him down. That was wonderful.
Right back to cause, isn't it?
This is to seeing our boy truly butterfly. He's just fantastic, Camille. No, but I'm really curious of what happens to him. I really our internet.
I'm still so glad that I lowered his volume.
Okay.
What was the last thing I was saying?
About good choices about killing kids.
Oh yeah, this series is willing to make ballsy choices, like killing kids, which are excellent choices, especially in this case and in this series.
Oh my god!
When it happens.
But it's just it removes the safety blanket of security from you. Like if they're willing to do that to certain characters, then there's not necessarily hope that Camille might get better, or that he'll have a happy ending or satisfying ending even. You just never know what to expect, and I feel like that keeps me on the edge of my seat, and I'm excited to see what happens, but at the same time I'm scared to find out. So just Camille was a great character in this series, and we'll see what happens.
Right, so Camille does kill Shirako, and that he's gonna take Camille's soul with him. Then after that, we do see that Camille has gone the way of Rosamia and kind of forgot everything. So, Marcos, my question, was that some type of new type bullshit? And what exactly is a new type?
So, I've been thinking on this question because you've been asking me almost every day what a new type is.
Behind the scenes.
And just after looking through what we've seen so far without really touching on anything that we haven't seen, you can kind of deduce some things about it. Like Char, for example, is a new type, but his abilities are much weaker than Amuro, who's also a new type. And Amuro and Lala seem to have different abilities than Char. So I think it's and Char also mentions that it's the next stage of human evolution, someone who's left the Earth's gravity and now has the advantage of living in space, and their soul and spirit is unbound. So based on that, I take it as someone who lives in space, not necessarily born in space because Amuro was born on Earth, and has the ability to expand their mind. So living in space somehow helps them gain psychic abilities that would otherwise be unattainable on Earth. And these abilities range from like telepathy to something we see with Camille, where he can manifest the energy of others' spirits.
Psychic ghost powers.
Yeah, into a shield or a sword, or Shirako, where he can wipe people's minds with it. And it's also like an aura that others can feel, because we see multiple times throughout this both series that there's like a pressure every time someone's new type abilities are unhinged and coming out in that aura that we see around them. Other people can feel that as well. So ultimately the conclusion is that there's no true answer, but it's some kind of, psychic or mental ability that also has to do with their souls, that also gives them faster reflexes.
I've been really meditating on this question because I thought it was a very fair question. I really appreciated that Garcelle thought of it. And, he kind of just beat us over the head with it. And, I've been giving it some real thought. And, there's a short and concise way to absolutely define a new type. And, that's by, with a simple word, ass pull.
That's only 2 words.
Shh. But still. Anyway, they're essentially whatever Deus Ex Machina plot device the writers deem that is necessary for the given moment to make a point in the series. And every other series too. Well, I mean, not every series because we haven't watched them, but still, it's just really random. I don't know. I do like the way that Mark defined it, though. It's not necessarily random, like they do something different every time, but everybody does seem to have a different affinity or different kind of new type power that's special to them as an individual. So, you know what? I'll actually give it some bonus points on being creative, because each of them are different and each of them vary significantly. So that is kind of cool. In a way, it's a good manifestation of certain attributes, and I appreciate it, even though it's kind of random still overall. But it is what it is, and we'll continue to find out what new types do and what they don't do. But yeah.
Well, I think it does have parameters, because they're not doing anything like crazy except for Camille and potentially future characters. But until
double Zeta, we got Crossbone, we got Victory, we got Unicorn left in this. Oh boy,
I don't think Crossbone is
it not UC?
No,
I thought it was.
I think it's in the Gundam X timeline. If I might be wrong on that though. But yeah, the new type abilities seem to have some set parameters. Like, they're not, when you say something like they're like Deus Ex Machina, I think instantly to something like Dragon Ball Z, or something where some character just instantly learns like some ridiculous power, and they're immortal. But in this case, Camille could have died many a time, and there's a lot of new types that do die. Emma, Kotz,
Sarah, Rulami,
Optimus.
Oh, because new types as well.
Huh? The cyber new type. Yeah, and people were saying like Optimus is so crazy, so like OP. All the characters in the series were saying this about him, but I mean, he's not OP enough to stop the Wave Rider from crashing into his torso and killing him.
That's true.
So it's not like this. I don't know. It's kind of just like, I don't think it's as crazy as you made it sound. But
no. Yeah, it's not, honestly. Like, I'll agree with you. I was just kind of like bagging on it just because it kind of seemed really random, and it would come up at certain times, very different and very strong for certain characters. Like you were saying for Camille, in comparison to like Emma. Emma's not necessarily like a super strong new type or really stand out, other than she just kind of has she's able to like. What does she do? She senses where people can be in trouble and all that kind of stuff. Some kind of foresight. Yeah. That actually seems, you know what? If anything, I would say that that's probably the most common trait that new types have, is that they kind of have some level of foresight in being able to like detect each other, or certain moments of danger and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, maybe there's somewhere that they all have some kind of common ground. But
Yeah. Well, you look at a character like Fa, who is also seemingly a new type, and she's trash at piloting mobile suit. Like, she's not good at all. And she has the same, like, foresight powers that Camille has. Not to the extent that Camille has, I would say, but I mean, she's got them, and it doesn't help her because she can't react upon it like other characters can. So,
yeah.
I don't know. That's my take on the new type.
So in terms of like the new type powers right there, like let's compare main characters. I kind of want to hear your opinion on this. Other than the fact that that Camille has the, basically the physical barrier and to beef him up in combat as a new type. Other than that, how would you like compare their new type abilities? Do you feel like Amuro is maybe like how do you, just how would you compare them? Like, who do you think is stronger as a new type overall?
I would say. Oh, go ahead.
You're gonna say Camille too, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Camille, but I want to hear your reasoning because I have a reason why I believe that.
Well, for me, is the fact that what a new type is has pretty much evolved throughout Zeta. Well, in Mobile Suit Gundam was basically they're supernatural. They have enhanced senses, and that's as far as we see. That's all Amuro has right now. I'm aware that he's in Char's counterattack, and I don't know much if he gets anything new in there. But as of right now, where it stands, Camille is a lot stronger in terms of new type powers.
Now, is that, are you basing that solely on the fact that he's able to manifest, like a shield around him and
yes,
and things? Do you have any like opinion on like their foresight, reactions, or piloting skills or anything like that?
Well, I would say Amuro is probably a better pilot if he gets a better mobile suit. Camille in the Zeta probably beats out whatever his fish-looking mobile suit is.
The Deja.
Yeah.
So I don't. In terms of powers, I cannot grant Camille the shield and the sword power. I would say because that came from other characters. Like we see the
battle rules.
No. I'm just saying, like, I still think Camille's stronger new type, but we see the spirit of the other characters is what gives Camille those crazy abilities, like the shield and the sword. So comparing like Amuro to Camille, I would say that Camille is stronger based on the fact that he can handle the emotional stress of the new type being a new type. Like whereas Amuro after Lala died went into a 7-year like breakdown. Camille after 4 died did not have that same reaction, even though Amuro compared them and said that they were similar in that regard, and that he thought Camille wouldn't be able to take it, but Camille was able to take it. So I feel like Camille's able to handle the stressfulness of being a new type and having to bear the thoughts of everyone that dies and stuff.
Nice, I like it. When you pile that up, it's who has the more sorrowful bio. I think Camille takes it too. He has a lot more distress out, in my opinion. Like both his parents got killed in front of him, and
Amuro at least still has his mom.
Yeah, he just abandoned her.
His dad.
But he's also a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
When that happened, I kind of thought like, well, he's in the middle of a war, so it makes sense why it didn't happen. But hopefully, he did this after, in that he went back to visit his dad and maybe go take him to a home or something. I feel like maybe it would have been a bit not a very strong show of any kind of humanitarianism if he just left his dad in such a vulnerable state, just kind of sitting around playing with scraps and whatnot, Hopefully, I headcanon that Amuro took him to a home.
Alright, so let's end this off with just... Fuck. All right, let's end this off. We got a new series coming up, a direct continuation to Zeta in Double Zeta. Is there anything you guys are expecting to see aside from Camille's ultimate fate?
Double the Zeta. That's what I'm expecting.
I'm hoping that they show maybe a better explanation, like an actual. I don't think they will though. I really don't think they want to tell us what a new type is, but
they probably don't even know.
Yeah, they're probably leaving it ambiguous. So we're like, so they don't have to. That they have that open like parameters, so they can set whatever they want.
Yeah, they
for
can
the
always
future,
shift the story into whatever they deem necessary. So it'll be fun.
And maybe Char, maybe Amuro. I just want to see him come back. I feel like Amuro could have played a bigger role in Zeta. But
hopefully. You know what? I'm also expecting Baltachika to be pregnant
oh my
with
god,
Amuro's
why?
child. Dude, I'm telling you, they hit it off. It's gonna happen.
But what about Sayla?
Dude, nobody cares about Sayla. She's irrelevant at this point.
Yo, can I bring up real fast? I'm actually surprised there was not any more mention of Sayla. Like, she
I
just
know.
shows up as a cameo and then nothing.
Like a scene. Yeah.
To be honest,
sad
it's a
about
little
that.
bit sad. Some of their choices in terms of like when they implement certain characters was a little bit funny. Like I didn't like it's funny because when we started it, I didn't like I hated Bask, and then by the end I just didn't even give a shit about him.
Yeah, like Jared. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Double Zeta Gun. Hope that we see some returning characters, and I hope that we get some more new type powers, and see if Camille is actually the strongest, or maybe a new character comes takes his crown.
Oh, let's see what Judah can do.
Yeah, see what he can do.
I hope we see Fa again.
Why? She's annoying.
How dare you? I'm just kidding. Yes, I mean she is, but she's fun. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, but now Camille's like brain dead.
I'll assume if we see Camille, we'll see Fa. I doubt she wouldn't take a caretaker role in that regard.
Dude, she's been groomed throughout this series, taking
Like
care of
that.
those children to be a caregiver, and she's gonna be Camille's caregiver.
So I'm gonna add this, or I'm gonna cut this if we already talked about it, but I'm gonna mention it right now because it's in my head. Those kids, where did they come from, and why are they there?
Yeah, they came in with Quattro Ashar during one of his
Whose
trips
kids
to
are
Earth.
they? I thought they were Hayato's kids when I first saw them. I was like, are those the other two? Wait, they're too young. Who are
Yeah.
they? Why
They're
would you
space
bring
rats.
kids into a war?
And at least with White Base, you kind of had a reason that they just ended up there because they were escaping.
Yeah.
Hold on,
But
hold on. I got a theory, guys.
Let's hear it.
What if Shar is bringing kids on the plane because on the ship because he thinks that stressful situation and young children in space results in new type,
Oh.
and he's trying to manufacture them.
He's trying to manufacture them.
Watch,
Oh,
we're gonna see
damn.
those two kids.
The fact that
together.
makes sense.
It does.
It does. Damn, you just blew my mind.
Oh, that's it with my question.
All right, so this concludes our series on Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. We will be returning with another series on Double Zeta Gundam next time. Be sure to follow us on all our social medias. Take it away, Jose.
Yeah, feel free to support us and hit us up on Zaku Talku over on Instagram, over on Twitter, and whatnot. Yeah, just follow us. We post funny stuff every now and then. We like to ask questions and try to talk to people. Engage with the community, or and all that kind of fun stuff. We just want to talk to all of y'all. We all love Gundam, and yeah. We appreciate you, and we just want to be loved.
Yeah, if you hear us talking about anything in particular that we think is really funny, it probably will end up on our Instagram page. You can take a look at.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's where I'm ending it. I'm just glad we got Jose's COTS rants in there. Oh.
Oh wait. Catch you guys next time. There we go.